Shalom. Hope you're having a great day so far. Today I want to continue right back to basics about Hashem, God, and about His existence and His being, what it is not. But looking at things from a little bit more of a scientific view. What do I mean by that? The Rebbe explained very clearly that science and Torah do not contradict each other whatsoever. It's only theoretical science where sometimes you get into situations where you might see a contradiction. But empirical science, not only it's not a contradiction to any belief in Torah, to the contrary, it enhances belief in God and belief in the Torah. Now let's try to figure a little bit about why that is. First of all, a lot of people make their decisions about God on the basis of not seeing, feeling, smelling, hearing God. And as a result, they feel, I can only work on the basis of what my senses tell me, and there is no apparent appearance of God. Well, as explained before, God had a reason for doing that and making himself hidden to the degree that he is. But going into a little bit deeper, really in this room right now, there are plenty of colors, sounds, light waves, all types of infrared and other things that are going on that we are not privy to. Our sight is basically limited to a very small range on a very large range of colors. Our hearing is also very, very limited, even though a dog can hear more than we can. And our understanding of the world around us is really so limited. Science helps us to understand what those hidden dimensions are that are going on all around us. I remember when I first came out to Stony Brook, to the university back in the 70s, I became close with the head of the physics department. He was interested in Kabbalah and metaphysics. I was interested in physics, so we had a good relationship. And when we get together, we get into some interesting conversations. So one time he said to me, Rabbi, do you know what a molecule is? I said, of course. It's a nucleus surrounded by electrons which go around it. And he said, well, if you would take the space out between the nucleus and the electrons going around it, and you would take the space out between molecule to molecule, and just have pure mass. So if you would take the whole of the Earth, how much space do you think it would require to be able to take all of the mass of the Earth if you just had the electrons and the nuclei without any space whatsoever? I told him I had no idea. I told him, you see the gym over there on the campus? It would all fit into that gym. So the amazing thing is, this creation is so complex, so multidimensional. There's so many things going on beyond our imagination. Even what we're seeing is not really what it appears to be. The colors you see, if you ask a physicist, are not really colors as we think of them. The sounds are vibrations, and so forth and so on. It's really a different reality. We live on a very, very specific level of this reality that nature or science contains within it, that God created. But there's so many other dimensions that are going on. In our school, so our students study bioengineering. Bioengineering basically takes the way that things work and looks at it as an engineer. In other words, all the biological developments of a human being, an eye, even a bridge or an egg or whatever it might be, and looking at it from an engineering perspective, let's sum it up by saying how many patents would it require to be able to make such a thing, and how would you go about making it in a way that you could duplicate some of these things that are made in that are just part of the world around us. And if you look at some of these creations, are absolutely amazing. Just the eye that you're using right now is an incredible, incredible machine. To think that something like this came about just by accident is a leap of faith beyond even a leap of faith of believing that there's a God behind this world. To take an ear, the outer ear can hear. Can you see vibrations? The inner ear is in charge of your balance, is your internal GPS system, which is amazing. Without it, a person would have terrible problems in their own life and their own balance and be unable to walk to a certain degree. Just take a hummingbird. A hummingbird is an incredible piece of machinery that would require a tremendous amount of patents, and it's totally different than any bird. Total leap from any other type of flying object in this world. It can stay still like a helicopter, and it can go backwards as well, which is the only bird that exists that can go backwards. We were at the zoo the other day with my grandchildren. We were visiting and we saw peacocks. Look at the peacock feathers. It's just also no precedent for it whatsoever. Beautiful beyond beauty, and go on and on and on and on to a simple sunrise, a sunset, the trees outside, the creation system of how things recreate, the sperm and the egg, which are so complex and really give birth to every single part of our body, even the technical and specific aspects of our own brain, which many people would say is the most complex part of our body, or the whole system, the whole DNA for it, is found in that small microscopic sperm and egg. So we can go on and on and on. There are some amazing books by Victor Miller which talk about this and the miracles of the body and the miracles of nature in general, which really get us to think about what is the intelligence behind this world. So there are many ways to be able to look at God in this world. The way Kabbalah looks at it, as we discussed last week, the way perhaps science looks at it, and the way we can feel it in our soul and in our heart that there is something going on behind the scenes, that we have a soul, that there's something to our consciousness. There's a reason why we have a moral feeling about things, that there is an aspiration towards godliness, which is something that gives us drive and gives us a sense of purpose beyond our normal capacities. So all these are things that, excuse me, that point in one direction, that there is in fact a God in this world. And the interesting thing is, God, as we said, is infinite, but the Kabbalah explains that just as God is infinite, so it is that he is finite. Because if you limit God by saying he is only infinite, then you're in fact limiting his infinity. That's a statement from a Kabbalistic book. Very, very interesting. So God is found in the world itself. And as a result, those who ask the question, well, you have an infinite God and a finite world. So how do you bridge the gap between infinite and finite? Well, that statement and many, many explanations in Chassidut and Kabbalah really explain and answer that question. And the answer is as follows. And we'll conclude with this, that in fact, this world is not finite in the true finite sense of the word. This world is infused with godliness. This world is totally united with God. It's part of God. It's an expression of God. And as a result, its infinity as infinity is in the appearance of finite. Where do we see this? Even a small little atom, a tiny, minute atom, has incredible, almost infinite power in it to be able to explode at the rate that an atom can explode. And that's just in a physical sense. In a spiritual sense, we say that everything in this world also has an infinite aspect of it. And as I mentioned before in a previous class, that it's only because Hashem, the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, the name of God that we know of, the Ado and Noi, was created the world through the name Elohim. Bereshis bara Elohim es hashamayim v'haaretz. And Elohim represents nature, represents duality, represents the aspect of God which hides that infinite, powerful, overwhelming, omniscient, omnipotent aspect of God and brings it down into the finite, contracts it, transformer after transformer, through a process that Kabbalah calls Tzimtzum, in order to be able to make this world. So what does that do to us as far as when we go into the rest of today? It means that we feel that infinity is really part of our finite details in life. And we're not so far from God at all. To the contrary, God is intensely involved in this world. And if we would just be objective about looking at the world, let's see, with all the baggage that a belief in God brings with it, and just say, can this world exist on its own, totally without any cause, without any intelligence behind it, without any seeming drive or force keeping it going? If we were to be totally objective, it would be totally logical to say, yes, there is a primordial cause. There is a God behind this world. There is a creator behind the creation. There is an artist behind the piece of art. What's the problem? Problem is that for many people, that is a very hard statement to make because, so to say, it comes with a lot of baggage. baggage of religion, baggage of right and wrong, baggage of God requiring certain things, and so forth and so on. But if we just look objectively at the first sentence of the Torah, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And we look at that sentence and what it means, it's very hard not to come to the conclusion, yes, there is a God behind all of this. Great. Have a great day. Enjoy yourself, and hopefully we'll see you soon.